Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday evening. You guys will be viewing this on Wednesday. 10th through 12th graders, you will have a activity on Schoology, and that activity will require that you view this video and then answer questions to document your learning as well as to document attendance. Let's see here. Today, ninth grade B students came into class. Tomorrow, ninth grade A students will come into class. And then tomorrow or Wednesday, 10th through 12th graders will have a Schoology lesson. And again, the lesson will involve this video. So please pay close attention to the video. Okay, so first of all, let me start off by saying welcome. Welcome back to Eastridge, particularly the 10th through 12th graders. And then welcome to Eastridge for the first time, 9th graders. So here we go again, teaching in a pandemic. So strange times. Now let me say this, however, and this goes particularly for the 10th through 12th graders. Trimester 1.1, or teaching now, is going to be much different. Not teaching so much, although that will be different, but learning as well. It's going to be much different than it was in spring of this year when we all did distance learning. And I know teaching Algebra 2 in the spring, we went at a snail's pace and we didn't cover a whole lot of material. Okay, we would give you guys like 3-4 days to complete an assignment. But again, we didn't cover a lot of material. I know in talking to a lot of Algebra 2 teachers, they mentioned that they found the trimester to be way too easy last spring. Well, we're going to flip that around. We're just going to do a full 180 because now things are going to be much different. We're going to move at a very fast pace. We have about 22 days, okay, to get through the entire trimester. So do away with the mindset that you may have developed in spring when we all were doing distance learning, because it's going to be radically different, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, I will go over some things with you that are on Schoology, and yeah, so let me do that. So first I am going to go to Schoology, and I'll go over a couple of things. You can, at your leisure, look at Introduction and Expectations, okay? But a question was asked by one of my virtual students: how do I join your Google Meet when there's a Google Meet for that day? Well, in Schoology, you would click on the Google Meet calendar, click to join, and then you click here, click to join. And then listed for that day would be, and for your hour, would be a link for you to join the Google Meet. So if you're an A student on that day, then you would click that link to join Google Meet. If you're a B student on that day, you would click that link. So you will join Google Meet from the link that will be on Schoology. Okay, so that link right there. All right, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, so here in Resources, there's a Resources tab. And here you'll find the chapter text, chapters textbook. Okay, so I put out chapters 1 and chapter 3. So if you want to use your hardcover book, you certainly can, but the chapters are out here, the PDF. Okay, and I'll also put out the solutions. I haven't done that yet. Many times you will submit an assignment in Schoology, so I put this link out there to show you how to submit an assignment in Schoology. And then you are required to have a graphing calculator, but about 95% of the things you do with a graphing calculator, you can do with Desmos, this Desmos graphing calculator. So that's out there as well. But that is in Resources, okay? Right. And occasionally I will begin a lesson or a new chapter, a new section new chapters in particular, and I haven't put the PDF out there. Just remind me. Okay, I have on occasions forgotten to do that, but a student has always reminded me. All right. Now, I've talked to some of you guys about Google Meet. So in Google Meet, again, we have the lesson. I am a remote teacher. Okay, I'm teaching remotely. So let me go back here. I'm teaching remotely, so a lot of the things, all of the things I'll do will be on Google Meet. And so during the A session, B session, or whatever, if students have a question, they can certainly ask a question to the entire class verbally in Google Meet. Google Meet has a chat facility where you can ask a question in the chat facility. But I know that can be somewhat intimidating to students to ask a question in front of the entire class, either verbally or by typing something in a chat session. So what I've done is I've developed this anonymous chat sign-in. In what you would do, you would enter in your student ID, and then that way you can ask a question, and only I would see it. And so this would be happening during the time that class is going on. Not only will you ask questions, I will ask questions of you, particularly I'll look for a response from you for a problem I present, and then you'll respond in the anonymous chat session. Okay, so when you log in using your student ID, this screen will come up, and there you'll enter in your question, your response to question, and then you'll submit it. And then on my end, what I do is I actually see what you entered in. Okay, so what is 2 plus 2? And then I can click on that. And then respond to your question like I did here. So I would click on that. I don't know if this is going to work because it's okay. There's a reply. And then I could reply to your question anonymously. And so here I reply, teacher comment. Oh, you can answer that. All right. So again, that's the anonymous chat session, and you'll use that a lot because I'll ask a lot of questions of you. When I'm teaching a lesson, I'll pose some example problems, and then I'm expecting a response from you, and you have to respond one way or the other. That counts as part of your grade. That's participation. No response, no credit. It's just that simple. It's the only way I can check for understanding as I'm teaching a lesson. Okay, so keep that in mind. So, and again, you'd access that link from the Schoology anonymous chat session. So usually it's going to work like this. In the beginning of class, you sign in to Google Meet and you sign into the anonymous chat sign in. So, and then we're good to go. We're ready to go from there. All right. And also, I've sent all of you credentials to for this website, myhrw.com, my.hrw.com, and I've sent you logon information, username and password, and you need to go out to that site if you haven't already, and you need to reset your password or change your password. So what you would do, okay, you'd go out to my.hrw.com, and then here you will select the state of Minnesota, and in the organization South Washington County, so School District 833. The username I gave you in that email I sent you in Gmail, and then the temporary password, and then you would click the login button, and then it will ask you to change your password. It will ask you to change your password. And I suggest you change your password to the same password you use when you sign on to the computers in school. That way you only have to remember one password. All right, so if you haven't done that, and many of you have, okay, change your password. Because on Thursday, first day where everybody is in class, or at least participating, you will have an activity, okay, from this resource, and I'll just briefly show you that. So here's the interactive student edition, and I believe in Unit 2, Module 3, you will go through lesson 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3, and then on Monday you have your first test, and it'll be questions right from this module. So you need to get signed up. I will use this resource, Holt McDougall online. I'll assign questions, homework, maybe even quizzes and tests. Okay, in addition to using Schoology to assign homework and quizzes and tests as well. But you need to be signed up for that resource and ready to go come this Thursday. All right, so make sure you do that. Here, I will go out to the syllabus now and just talk about some of the important points here. Okay, because I want you guys to be successful. So just cover some of the important points as soon as this comes up. Here we go. All right, so let me see here. What are some of the important points? I tell you, it seems like, okay, everybody's online here now. All right, so grading. Back in the springtime when we did distance learning on 10 to 12th graders, you'll remember this, 50% of your grade was formative and 50% was summative. Well, we're back to the old schedule where 80% of your grade is summative, and that's tests, and then formative is 20%. That would be classwork and homework. So we're back to that. What else is important here? Okay, missing or late work. Late work associated with unexcused absences or missing work will receive partial credit of no more than 50% of the assigned grade. Okay, again, we're not in the mode of thinking that we were in the spring where you had a lot of time to complete your homework. You don't have that luxury now. You don't have that option. Okay, turning in late work is going to do you more harm than good. Even though you always learn something by at least doing some work, you'll really get behind. So just stay up with that. Okay, make sure you have your work done when it's due. And guys, we'll be covering like 1 or 2 sections every day. So we'll be moving very fast. Very, very fast. What else do I want to talk about? Let's see here. A cell phone is not allowed in class. Sometimes I will allow you to use your cell phone if I want you to take a picture of like your homework and send it to me, and I'll go over that in a second. But a cell phone should never be visible when you're taking a test, otherwise you'll get a 0 on the test. Okay, so let me now say something about, so I think I covered the important points. Make sure you never have your cell phone out when you're taking a test. Make sure you turn in your work on time, otherwise you'll lose credit. And, I did want to say one thing. Retakes, and some of you are aware of this. So each trimester you're allowed 1 retake per chapter if you earn below 70%. But to do that, you have to have all your formative work completed, so I'll be checking to see that you have that. And you have to meet with me to discuss what you got wrong on the last test, any misconceptions you have. And you have to retake the assessment within 1 week after the first test. And even then, that may be too late or too long because we're moving at a very fast pace. So we'll see here how that goes. All right, and so I think I've talked about everything in the syllabus there, except for homework. And so I did want to show you guys this, okay? So in spring trimester, because homework accounted for so much of a student's grade, students always had to turn in their homework, and I looked at it and graded it. Okay, I'm not doing that this trimester because, one, it just takes me way too long, and I have way too many students. And so on any given homework assignment, let's say here I have 30 students in the class, so I will randomly select 6 students to turn in their homework, okay? So that's a probability of 1/5 or 20%. So there's a 20% chance for any given homework assignment you'll have to submit it. Now, if there's 10 homework assignments in the trimester, that means you can expect to turn in 2 assignments to me. All right, so if there's a 20% chance you'll be called on to turn in a homework assignment, and it could be any homework assignment. I mean, there's a possibility that you may be called on every 10 times. There's a possibility you may never be called on to turn in a homework assignment. It's just randomly. But there's an 80% chance you don't submit that day's work, okay? If there's a 20% chance you do. So if I take 80%, and because there's 10 homework assignments, if I take 80% and raise it to the 10th, well, there's a, okay, that should be 10.7. There's a 10.7% chance then, let me erase this. There's a 10.7% chance you'll never have to submit homework. 80% chance you won't have to on any given day, raised to the 10th or 10 times. Okay, there's a 10.7% chance you'll never have to submit homework. Or look at it another way. So there's a 10% chance you never will have to submit a homework. Or looked at it another way, there's an 89.3% chance you have to submit at least one homework assignment. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so let's say here you never get called on except for that last time, that 10th. Okay, and then you don't have it, but you turn it in later. You'll only get 50%. Well, if homework accounts for 20% of your entire grade, 50% of 20% is going to be 10%. Okay, so just to let you know, you have been warned. All right, so that's the homework. All right, now the other thing so let me go back to here. The other thing I want to say is that, so if you're an A student and it's A day, then I'll take attendance that way. If you're a B student or virtual student, you'll have something to complete online to document attendance, and again, that will start tomorrow. Okay, so if you're not scheduled to be in class, look for some type of assignment, something to do on Schoology to document attendance. Okay, and the last thing I'll say this: I talking to my virtual students, I guess it was last week, and I asked them the question: how many of you have ever been in class and a student asked a question, and you were happy they asked the question because you learned something? And everybody's hand or everybody said they've experienced that. I've experienced that too. And the reason I say that is this here, okay? If you're an A student and it's A day, you're required to be in class, we'll have a Google Meet, okay? However, if you're a B student or a virtual student, you can join the class as well. I have no problem with that. In fact, I would encourage you to, because you always learn by participating in class, or at least saying or listening to see if somebody has a question. Okay, so if you're not scheduled to be in class, I would encourage you to join the Google Meet because you'll learn something. It's just going to enhance your learning. That's just the way it is. That's part of this problem with the hybrid schedule, and I'll give you a good example. So let's say here you're an A student. I present the lesson, okay, and that evening you have some work to do. Now, B student will be viewing the lesson as well, okay, or virtual students. Now, B students will come in next day and they'll have the opportunity to ask questions regarding the homework, okay? But what about the A students? I mean, you're not in class, okay? So you'll have to ask questions 2 days later. Well, we'll be on the third assignment by then. And so that's part of the problem. So that's why I would encourage you that even though if you're not scheduled to be in class and join the Google Meet, to join the Google Meet anyway, and ask questions if you didn't understand something, particularly on the homework. Okay, that's just as an FYI. If you're conscientious about your learning, I would do that. Okay, and so I guess that's all I had to say. So again, 10th through 12th graders, view the video. You'll have some questions to answer regarding the video to document attendance. And so that's it. So I hope everybody have a good evening, and we'll carry on.